Okay, to do a reverse sensor test, the truck needs to be on the turn plates, and we keep the front sensors and the rear sensors mounted. We've removed the middles because they will get in the way of the beams. So now we move over to the computer, and from the home screen we go to the magnifying glass. On the begin alignment screen, we hit the second box down, we hit service programs, and then we hit the second box down again, and we go to reverse sensor test. Okay, and what the reverse sensor test is asking us to do is mount the sensors in a reverse X pattern, so left front goes to right rear, and so on and so forth. And the stem that is showing here on the screen, we need to go to the sensor, and we're going to remove the sensor from the wheel clamp. And that sensor stem, we're going to take it, there's a slot in it, we're going to take that slot and we're going to roll it up to 12 o'clock, and we're going to lock that down real good with the knob. And that knob stays locked the whole entire time. So this left front is going to go to the right rear. So we walk it back over here. We disengage the right rear, set it off to the side temporarily, carefully. We re-engage the front sensor from the left front to the right rear. Now, we're going to level it with this butterfly. So we put just a little bit of pressure on this, and then we look at our level bubble, and we start leveling, and then we tighten this down, and it just needs to be perfectly level for this. That's the only room for human error in this process, is that. So we're going to move these all around, and don't forget, when you take this rear sensor, that you want to roll that notch to 12 o'clock, tighten it back down real good, and then you're going to level it with a butterfly when you reinstall this. Go ahead and move the other one. So I brought the left front up. My knob is locked. I'm going to level it, and I'm going to lock it down, get it nice and level. So Sean is moving the other two sensors, so now the right front has moved to the left rear, and now the left rear is on the right front. Okay, so all the sensors have been moved. So now we go to the screen and we hit ready. And now we have to steer the front wheels to 0, and then we're going to hit ready after that. So we steer them over to 0, and we will hit ready. Also, on these rear sensors, if you do not get a reading or they are stalled, you need to look. The mud flap was in the way of the rear sensors, or the front sensors that were on the rear, so we have to tuck the mud flap up out of the way to allow our beams to go across the back. So now we've hit ready, and it's taken that measurement, and now we crisscross the sensors back to where they came from, leveling and locking them in the same fashion with the cam locks. So now the sensor that was on the left front goes back to the right rear. And we go ahead and level and lock the same way that we did before. Get that perfectly level, and then we'll take the left front and do the same thing. Okay, so we've crisscrossed everything back. So now the front sensor's back in the front, and the rear sensor's in the rear, and they're all leveled and locked with the cam locks, not the lock knob. So then we come up here and we hit ready, and we'll get numbers on the screen. Okay, and ideally you're looking for as close to 0 as possible. Left hand toe and right hand toe, you want to be 0.09 or less. So this is a good calibration. It's close to a factory calibration. But anything over 0.09 or less on left hand toe, right hand toe, please call your service guy and get it calibrated.